History of water management in Riga. It has always been interesting to learn more about the past, how people used to live, how they cooked, how they looked, how they took care of themselves. And for all of this, they needed water. As the city grew, so did the number of its residents. There were very few when Riga was built, to 6,000 to 8,000 in the 15th century, and with that more and more water was needed for everyday use. The public wells that were connected to the Daugava River couldn't provide the necessary water supply. In 1560, Gotthard Kettler, master of the Livonian order, allowed Riga the privilege of enriching their water supply by drawing water from Jugla River. However, no real work was done till 1582, when Stefan Batory, the King of Poland, renewed this policy. With this, new water was provided to the city through the so-called sand trench and a water mill that was built near Bastion Hill that was also called the sand mill. The first central water management system of 1620. The first system to centrally provide water was built on top of the sand trench, mostly because the water there is thought to be clean and of good quality. The water is pumped from the trench and is provided to housing on the first floor. Pine trunks are starting to be used as materials for pipes, but very soon, in 1663, a new water intake site was built, this time directly from Daugava. In 1662, Jakob Josten, a craftsman from Danzig, came to Riga. It took him 2 years to build a completely new water pumping station in a tower forming part of the old Riga rampart, located on the Daugava river bank at the end of Gredzeniuk Street. The new system doesn't require pumps to do the work, but a new technology. A sequence of ladles are connected to a moving line to scoop the water in and deliver it to a water tower 6 meters high that has a 30 cubic meter reservoir made of wood. Thanks to this reservoir, the 2-story buildings in the city could receive water, which was quite enough for that time. And this is how water management evolved for the next 200 years. The largest polluter is the city itself. The trenches, the rainwater, the river, wastewaters, domestic water, it all enters the yard. From the yard into the street. In the best case, from the street into the ditch. And all the small ditches ended up in Valnju Street. The waters reached the reeds in the river, and from there they went to Dauga River, about where the railroad embankment is now. The city was acquiring their water 300 meters away from the outfall of Daugava River, which is still the river where nearly all wastewater accumulated. In 1773, Riga built its first closed wooden canal for wastewater. However, in 1861, the city started building its first wastewater pipelines. In 1863, Riga built a centralized drinking water system that was powered by steam pumps. The steam pump system itself was located on Maskava Street by Knidenerab Dam and started work on May 1863. Steam boilers and engines that were powering the water pumps were made out of cast iron and connected to the rest of the city. However, water was still being pumped from the Daugava River. Whilst the steam station evolved, in 1876, a new water tower was erected. In 1882, the city of Riga requested Adolf Thiem, an engineer and a specialist in hydrology, to find a water supply of better quality. The man chose Rembergju, Bukult, and Zatu manors as the sites to be surveyed. In the process, he concluded that these specific points in the city were not only of pristine quality, but also held unlimited source of drinking water. Groundwater never exceeds 9 degrees Celsius, and bacteria harmful to humans cannot thrive in waters below this temperature. At the end of 19th century and at the beginning of 20th century, science and technology developed even further, and new water management systems were made, along society's change in attitude towards hygiene and health. From 1903 till 1904, construction was being done on Maza Baltazar water pump station. Together with the newly built station, a 16.5 kilometers long and 800 millimeters wide cast iron piping system connected to the city's central water system was made. To carry out all construction works, state bonds worth 4 million golden rubles are issued. As for the other side of the river Daugava, the drinking water pipelines reached in only in 1906. These pipes use a pressure system which concluded in the city building another 4 water towers to regulate the flow. In 1934, a new station was built in Zatyumoj that opened in 1935. However, Riga grew, and so did the demand for water. With time, new water stations emerged: Remberģi, Katlkalns, Gauja, and a water treatment facility Jugla. Another water treatment facility near Daugava River started its work in 1979. Initially, the project included 200,000 cubic meters of drinking water daily. Right now, the consumption has decreased 4 times. We can explain this as a change in society. The population of the city have accustomed to using less water. The accounting of used water has become more precise, and, of course, the pipelines are being changed regularly. Here the waters from Daugava River are treated so that the Riga city can receive water and they can drink it safely. "100,000 cubic meters a day. Hard to imagine, and how to explain this intake? Perhaps it would be easier to understand when compared to something else. For an example, the city uses the capacity of 4 Jugla lakes, or 1 Tīšezers lake, per year. The water from Baltazars is already known to have higher manganese and iron content that gives it a specific taste. However, water from Daugava River is yellow in color and holds a high concentration of organic compounds, and that is why treatment of this drinking water supply matters so much. In conclusion, after treatment, all the water that comes from the pipelines is safe to drink. I know that all of these wastewaters in the past went into our beloved Daugava River, but what about now? That is something that had happened 400 years ago, when water management on itself started in Riga. It was a time when everyone needed clean drinking water and did not think about management of wastewaters. It is a time when the population grew and all-around water supply became scarce as the rivers and lakes were overgrown. This acquired a solution. Right now, we're standing at a place whose birth can be found in 1985, when the Council of Ministers agreed that a more special water treatment object is necessary. With joining the European Union, higher standards had to be met so that we could save the Baltic Sea from polluting nitrates. With time, we try to motivate more and more locals to join the centralized wastewater management network. The decentralized and locally made systems are not as safe as Daugavgrīvas treatment facility. The future vision that we see is of extracting water from deep underground. As of now, underground water is being taken only from Baltazars, Remberg and Zaķumuž, as well as surface water from Daugava. Our goal is to acquire water only from the underground supply to lower costs that are necessary to treat waters from Daugava. From the first drinking water lines made of pine tree till the modern-day management system before our eyes, it has taken 400 years. The knowledge and comprehension of what is clean water and wastewaters has changed. Water as a resource is our biggest wealth. We can be proud that the city of Riga has a clean and safe drinking water coming right from the tap. Let's drink it.